Good morning. Welcome to Sunday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well and give you some things to think about. And this particular card, usually these cards have 2 questions on them. This particular one has 3 questions on them. So to me, that's signifying this is a really important card. We need to pay attention to this one. So, good morning, Ruth Ann. Welcome. You're the first one popping on today. Looks like someone else is here too, but your name isn't rolling yet. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you are here. Jo Neal, good morning, dear. Good morning, good morning. So this morning is our book club. So we're doing Atul Gawande's Being Mortal, and we'll be on chapters 3 and 4. So that's at 7 a.m. my time, 8 a.m. Eastern time. So those of you who are participating, looking forward to seeing you and going over some of the questions I came up with for these chapters. Thank you for the sunshine. I appreciate it. So, have to tell you, went to see a movie yesterday. And while I wouldn't say it was the greatest flick I ever saw, it had some interesting premises in it. It was called Eternity. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you are here. And the basic gist behind it was this elderly woman dies, and she goes to this interim place where she needs to make a decision about where she wants to spend eternity and who she wants to spend it with. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad you are here. And so she has a first husband who was killed in the Korean War, and a second husband who was with her for a way long time, and all the various things that come with that. So last night I was just spending some time thinking. Again, the movie wasn't the greatest, but it certainly stirred some interesting questions. Be joining for a half hour. Oh, fabulous. Good, good. Whatever you can do, fabulous. And if there's a particular question, Gwen, you'd like us to answer, speak up, because one of the ways I want to do this one. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you are here. We're talking about book club quick. One of the ways I want to do this one, good morning, Carolyn. Welcome. Thank you for the snowflake. Is I want to put out there, here are all the questions I've posed. Which ones do you most want us to answer? Do you most want us to talk about? So we'll go from there. So again, this morning, Atul Gawande's Being Mortal, chapters 3 and 4, for those of you who are participating. So let's do a little breath and a little tapping. Oh, and note my necklace and my earrings. I put on this sweater this morning and thought, I used to have a necklace and earrings I always wore with this sweater. Wonder where they are. So I went digging through my jewelry and I found them. So this thing is all little beads put together. I just love this thing. Good morning, Barb. Haven't worn it in years. In fact, if I had to say, I would say this sweater and the accompanying jewelry are at least 30 years old. At least. So, yeah. But I thought it was quite fun to reminisce about those things. So, our card, let's breathe a little first. It's Allow Leniency. Pay attention to your reaction to that. Hello, Beth. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bringing your attention to right here, right now. Breathe in. Breathe out. A few minutes just for you on this fine Sunday. It still fits. Yes, it still fits. And I'm one of those people that when I find something I love, I buy every color they have. So I also have this in burgundy color and purple color. Good morning, Maureen. Welcome, welcome. Yes, and I still have all 3. Yes, and I probably have accompanying jewelry for those as well. We'll have to see. So anyway, card deck for today. Allowing Prayers by Siobhan Nash. 57 invitations to spark a conversation with your soul. How lovely is that? How wise is that? Those conversations with our soul. And again, this card, Allow Leniency, has 3 questions. Most of them have 2. This one has 3. That sparked my curiosity right off the get-go. So if some of you, as many of you as care to do so, would put each question in the feed, that would be wonderful. So the first one is, where are you currently pushing yourself to perform? Where are you currently pushing yourself to perform? And on that one, I feel like I have already made a ton of headway. I was so intense in college and graduate school and internship. And I think I've moderated that somewhat over the years. But where are you currently pushing yourself to perform? Also, my answer to that question is, if I'm pushing myself to perform, where am I not trusting the divine unfolding? If I think it all relies on me, where am I not turning it over? Where am I not having faith and trust that this will work out in the highest and best good of everyone involved? So answering this question, what I love about this question is it has a depth to it that's implied. Where are you currently pushing yourself to perform? Corollary, where is that meaning you're not having sufficient faith and trust? Thank you, Abigail. I appreciate that. So take a breath. Let it go. Where do you find yourself pushing? Instead of the divine feminine, allowing. Where are you pushing yourself to perform? Yes. And I love the corollary question. What does that imply about your willingness, ability, whatever, to have faith and trust about whatever it is? That push inherently implies that you're not having enough faith and trust. Second question, what small thing could you do to ease the pressure? What small thing could you do to ease the pressure? And the first one, and it doesn't feel like a small thing to me, is ramping up your faith and trust. Being willing to consider that the push might be the result of insufficient faith and trust. What small thing could you do to ease the pressure? And notice, think back on your life. When you were pushing at your very hardest, sometimes did it feel like you were running through water that was about knee deep? What happens when you do that? The faster you go, the more resistance the water creates, the more it slows you down, and the more likely you are to tip over, right? Find the pace that feels, still creates some resistance because you're moving forward, but it doesn't impede your progress by tipping you over, right? So there's a divine right pace to our part of contributing to this divine unfolding. Thank you, Abigail. I appreciate it. Hear that again. We're co-creating with the divine. Co-creating. So yes, we have to show up and we have to do our part, but our part doesn't always mean push. It could mean working with it. So, jewelry. There's another reason why I put this on today. When I pulled it out of the jewelry box, it was wound up with about 5 other necklaces. Something I learned from my friend's son, who's a jeweler. You don't just start pulling and ripping, and you lay them all out on a towel and you start rolling with your fingertips, and things start to unwind a little bit, and then you can figure out what you have to move away from what. Then you roll a little more. A process. Isn't that kind of like life? We got to roll a little bit, see what unfolds, then roll a little bit more. Third question. What could being lenient with yourself create space for a better outcome? How? How could being lenient with yourself create space for a better outcome? Say it again. How could being lenient with yourself create space for a better outcome? All kinds of answers popped to my head with that one. One of the things that happens when we're lenient is we are doing that kind of step back, observe the bigger picture, see what you notice, decide what to respond to instead of knee-jerk react to. It opens up the sacred space. It opens up that divine open field in which we can see more, feel more, know more. Your birthday, you're 75. Fabulous. Okay, round of applause for Carolyn. Yay, yay, yay. I'm so excited for you. Happy birthday. I hope you're doing some fun things. Might just be sitting in the window watching the birds. Who knows? Happy birthday. And a milestone no less. 3/4 of a century. Wow. That's a lot of life to have observed and participated in. Very cool. Very cool. I hope you have a lovely birthday, dear. So today, how can you, Carolyn, be lenient with yourself? You know, there's all the birthday wishes starting to fly in. Love it, love it, love it. Even a cake. Being lenient with yourself on your birthday, how can that create some space for a better outcome? I think one of the things I see with people with birthdays is oftentimes they have all these expectations of how it should be. What if we let that all go? What if we stand at the doorway of our birthday and say, how would I like this to go? What would be cool to have unfold? What am I open to receiving? Yes, she does. Good morning, Kennedy. And thank you, Abigail, for posting our third question. These are amazing questions, folks. Amazing questions. If we just take time, Carolyn, maybe it's making yourself a wonderful cup of coffee and sitting and journaling these 3 questions, especially on our birthday. You know, New Year's Day and our birthday, they seem like times to reboot, times to refresh, to decide how's it been going and how would I like it to go? And how can I open up to receiving what it is I most desire? Yeah, that feels good. That feels good. So, I'd love all of you practical rebels to put some things in the feed in terms of what about these questions strikes you? Which of these questions is like spot on for where you are right here, right now? I think for me, it's that third one. How could being lenient with myself create space for a better outcome? Allow. Stop the inexorable shove, which oftentimes, again, like running in water. Think about that. There's a pace at which you can run successfully in water, but you go beyond that and the water tips you over because the resistance is too strong. Move with the pace of life. Move with the pace of life. Allow it to set the pace for you. Lovely card. Allow leniency. I love that. Love that. And think about that. Once we're doing this well for ourselves, it'll begin to extend to others more so. How many people do we have in our life where we demand them to be a certain way or we expect things of them? Having sushi for dinner and then going to see Christmas lights. Fabulous. That sounds lovely. Lovely. Well, know that in the parallel universe, we are all having sushi with you for dinner and driving around with you to see Christmas lights. Have an awesome birthday, Carolyn. So, for the rest of us, even if it isn't our birthday, it's the birth of a new day. And what do we want to do with this beautiful, wild day that the universe has given us? Have an awesome Sunday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. And I will see some of you on book club in short order. Bye-bye.